This meeting is called to order at 6:30 p.m. on Monday, August 28th, 2017. This meeting is being recorded. Move to accept the minutes of last week's, or 2 weeks ago meeting, that'd be August 14th, as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes of the previous meeting are accepted. Okay. Old business. Complaint on Richmond Road, deadline September 14th, so we're waiting on that. Ridley map, it says waiting on Ed Ridley. Is that what you wanted to talk about in? Okay, so that'll be deferred until later. Nuisance ordinance on hold?
Yes.
Okay. Job descriptions. Paula Matthews will be joining us in a little while to talk about that. Forensic audit. We got the forensic audit completed. And it's lengthy. Let me just read part of it here and give you the headline of it. Okay. It says, the forensic engagement procedures documented a believed misuse of town funds in the amount of $11,417.91. And then it says if we want to, we should contact the county attorney to see if they want to take any further action on that. So, what do you want to do with it?
Is that an additional 11,000?
Yes, I
Yes.
want to contact the,
Oh, by the way, we're going to put that, make that digital, and it'll be available on the town website for anybody to read.
should we do that before we contact, let's contact the attorney first and then we'll do that.
Well, I think we should discuss what we want to do with it first. I don't want to go to the county attorney with it and have him say he's going to proceed, and then we discuss it and decide we don't want to. And if he says he doesn't want to proceed with it, then it doesn't matter what we say.
Okay, I think we should take it to him.
Okay?
That's my vote.
Curtis, you agree?
Yeah, $11,000 due back to the town.
Fine, then I move that we forward all of this to the county attorney to see if there's anything else that he
I
can do with
second.
it.
I
All in
second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I'll take care of that.
Thank you.
Okay, second driveway on School Street. You submitted your driveway permit application, which we have here somewhere. Do you have it, or is it in here?
Might be in your folder.
Okay. I saw it here earlier. Here it is. Okay. So what we have to do is we have to turn this down, and then you can apply to the Zoning Board of Adjustment. So somewhere on here. I can't even read that fine print. Somewhere on there we have to say no and sign it.
Second page? Oh, no, try it. Oh,
Oh, that's where you sign.
there it is.
Let's do this then. Jason, can you give us until tomorrow to turn this down?
Sure.
Okay.
And what is it being turned down for again?
Well,
That's the driveway
we're
cut?
turning it down because we don't have the authority to grant a permit for a second driveway on the same lot.
Because it's more of a state level,
No, the state has nothing to do with it.
so it's a town ordinance.
Yes.
Okay.
One driveway per lot, unless there's some extenuating circumstances.
I know I had called Alissa
Yeah.
on it and asked her where to find it. She told me I could find it online, and I've read everything I can and haven't found anything yet.
It's in the driveway ordinance. In fact, after we discussed it, I did go back and read it.
You did? I
Yeah.
haven't been able to find it.
All right. Well, we'll get a
I'll
copy.
of it if I can get a copy.
Okay, we can do that. We'll get a copy of that for you, and oh, you found it?
RSA 236-13, driveways and other accesses to the public way. It says more than two driveways, entrances, exits, or approaches from any one highway to any one parcel of land unless the frontage along that highway exceeds 500 feet.
Okay.
Good.
Right. But then the zoning ordinance goes into a little more detail
Okay.
about it.
Yeah, I'd love a copy of that.
I'm sorry?
I'd like to have a copy of that. if
Okay.
you could.
But I don't know where you deny it.
All right, we'll figure it out. We may just put a cover letter on it. All right,
You'll
we'll,
just mail me a failure letter or whatever?
we can do that.
Okay.
We can do that. And we'll print out a copy of the zoning ordinance,
Wonderful.
of the appropriate portion of the zoning ordinance that covers driveways.
Okay.
It's actually a separate ordinance, the driveway ordinance.
So we need to send that to the ZBA the next?
Well, no,
Yeah,
Jason's
well,
gonna
He's
apply,
gonna apply to the ZBA next.
but you can
How do
put
I
him in touch with
contact
Jody. We'll get you the
You'll
phone
get me
number.
everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you gotta have, there's like 5 hardships that you have to prove. There's 5 categories or whatnot, and the Dollar General just had to do the same thing about their entrance on the backside as well, or no, their sign
Yep.
being so small. They went to the ZBA, tried to get an exception to it, and it didn't go through because they couldn't prove that there was a hardship.
Okay.
Not saying that you can't do it, because I mean, it's very, I feel it's justified, but you gotta let the ZBA
Yep.
make their decision.
And they meet here in this building, or?
I think they meet in the
Across
other
the
room.
hall, yeah.
Across the
But they
hall.
don't have a schedule. They meet whenever there's something to
When there's
consider.
something thought about, okay.
So we'll give you the name and phone number of the head of the ZBA. You'll contact her, and they'll set up a meeting, and they'll notify you when that meeting is. You come in, plead your case, and they'll either say yea or nay.
Okay.
He has to drop the paperwork off to me and I have to contact the ZBA, we don't give up.
Okay. Don't listen to me, listen to her.
Okay.
Yeah, doesn't the abutters have to be
That
contacted too?
ZBA takes care of that part.
Okay.
Yeah. And do you have the paperwork for the 5 hardships, or what the
That's
questions
listed in
are?
the zoning ordinance.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you look in the zoning ordinance, they'll tell you what the ZBA,
I'll-
I keep saying zoning ordinance, driveway ordinance. Yeah.
I'll send it with the paperwork.
Oh, that'd be good.
just so you have a heads up and you have everything prepared, it's a lot easier.
All right, so we will take care of that and get that to you as quickly as we can.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, fundraiser. Does anybody have any information on that? Our agenda every week says Mark will call Ben Drug to put it together.
They made contact, but I have no idea what's going on.
Okay?
I know, maybe, should we take that off our agenda?
No,
Um,
no, because that's something that's still pending.
Okay,
Yes.
but as far as the state is concerned, we're not
But we still
to
want to
be
know about it.
involved.
We want to know
Okay,
about it.
all right.
All right, Troy redevelopment group. Do we have anything further on that, Curtis?
No.
No? Okay.
I haven't heard anything or any movement
All
or
right.
anything from Tom Madison.
Okay,
coming
the
in.
complaint letter on Brook Street, that's old, that's really old business. Can we delete that, Alissa, from the future agendas? That's a dead issue. Okay, West Hill Road complaint, September 7th deadline. Central Square complaint, the deadline has passed. That was August 24th. So, question now is, shall we escalate?
Or do we send another letter? Did we send that by certified mail? Do you remember?
I can't remember off the top of
No.
my head.
Okay, from now on, we have to send them all certified mail.
Why?
So we can prove in court, when we go to court, that they received it.
Okay,
I think maybe we should send a follow-up letter asking if they would like to appeal.
all right. Then let's make that a policy,
Okay.
that anytime we send a letter out about a zoning violation, telling someone that they have to
They have 30
correct the
days.
situation,
Right.
we'll send it certified the first time.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we haven't been doing that.
Right, and we need to do that.
Okay. All right, so we'll do that. And, in fact, let's just do this, Alissa. Would you just print out another copy of that letter? You have that. I sent it to you? Okay. Just print out another copy of that letter, and we'll send the same letter to them.
Resend? Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Change
fine.
the date or leave it?
No, leave the date alone. And just put a note on there, second mailing. or
Second
something like that.
notice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, anything further on that?
So then it'll be 30 days from the day of mailing, again.
Yeah, actually,
Correct.
let's do this, Alyssa. Let's leave the date on the letter as it is. Right, just draw a line through it and put the date that you're mailing out the certified letter, so that it's clear that it's a second mailing. And put the word second mailing right after it. But I don't want to change the printed date on the letter. Okay? Thank you. Amnesty Day. Well, we don't have to make a decision on that until next week, because I want to look at the budget that I'll get later this week.
Yeah.
So we'll
Yeah,
just-
and Jimmy will be here next week.
yeah, so we'll just table that till next week. Giorgiani Trust Fund public hearing. It was scheduled for September 28th. but we're gonna move that to October 10th at 7 p.m. at the community center. That's a Tuesday following Columbus Day. The select board would have met that night, so I want to cancel the select board meeting for October 10th. And we will meet instead at the community center as a public hearing on the Georgiani Trust Fund. And the reason we're doing this is because we did not publicize this in the Troy Town News, which comes out next week. So this will give us the October 1st issue of the Troy Town News to get the word out to everybody. Okay? Any discussion on that? Any questions? Okay. See, Lynn, we can't do this job without your help.
I'm here to help.
Thank you.
You said the 10th?
October
October.
10th, Tuesday night.
Tuesday, okay.
Yeah. Fitzwilliam Road complaint the state is investigating. Have we heard anything on that? That's the septic system that was going into the wetlands?
I saw them moving out yesterday. They're a little pickup.
Yeah, but it's the owner's issue that we're dealing with.
Okay, yes.
Okay, what's the state doing?
Okay, so Dick DeSave's last day is Thursday.
His last day?
Yes, and he called me.
You wore him out.
He called me last Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, and this morning I came in and Alissa and I sent over. He wanted to know the lot, the map. Everything has been compounded the past 2 weeks when he had this particular property on the agenda
Yeah.
to visit. So he has not gotten here yet.
Okay.
So what he's going to do is forward a letter to that Greek family. I cannot pronounce their name. Okay.
Xanthopoulos.
Okay, in Keene, and let them know that apparently they don't have to cease and desist, but he's forwarding a copy of the letter to us. And they do have to stop doing what they're doing. But
You
then,
said it's not cease and desist.
no, he's going to be kinder.
Okay.
So why or how, I don't know, but it's the state. I couldn't tell him, no, you can't do that. We need cease and
Right.
desist. But we'll see. He's going to forward the letter to us so we know how to move forward, because no one's applied for his job. They haven't advertised his job, and no one else at the state can do his job. So going forward,
All right.
it may be up to us.
All right.
So we have to have a copy of that letter.
All right.
And I
That's
told him
fine.
that.
And-
And we can call Carl Hagstrom.
Yeah, that's what I
But-
think, contract basis.
Right, but what I'd like to do, if that was the case, is take the people to court.
I can't hear you.
Take the people to court. I would
Yeah.
prefer to do it that way than have it repaired, put a lien on his house, we'll never get our money. I would prefer to do it correctly
Okay.
the first time, but that's my opinion. We
You're
have
right.
to
You're
decide
absolutely
as a
right. All right, well, let's wait until we
Okay.
get that letter from Dick.
Okay, so that's where we stand
Okay.
with that.
Any questions from anybody on what we're talking about at Fitzwilliam Road? Okay.
Is it raw sewage?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Not just.
The report that we got was that the owner of it was a rental property. The owner of the property put in a sump pump to drain the septic system into the adjoining.
It was
wetlands.
directly, the sub pump, we have photos, was directly in the septic system, pumping it out behind the home.
Cool.
Lovely.
Okay,
Not cool.
we're gonna stop at this point. Paula,
Yes,
hi, come on in.
thank you.
Have a seat right up here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Get stuff out of your way.
I
Paula,
have my back
Oh.
to everyone.
this is Bob Guelcher
How do you do?
and Curtis Hopkins.
Nice to meet you.
Curtis.
And of course, we've met before,
Yes,
we've
we
worked
have.
before. And you met Alissa? Or you
I don't
had a
think
chance?
I have.
Okay, Alissa Fox.
Okay.
Okay, and we're gonna be talking about
Thank you.
job descriptions. Like you,
And we have a really simple proposal for you. Let me get to those. We have a customized job description questionnaire, and this is the sample of that. And all you need to do, really, is have your employees fill it out, and once the questionnaire has been filled out by all of them, and turned back in, of course, we want a deadline for that, you turn those completed questionnaires into us, and per questionnaire, per job description, we would charge you 3/4 of an hour of time per job description, and we deliver customized job descriptions to you. And I thought you did a marvelous job with the one for the library director, and if you wanted them modeled after this, we certainly could do that as well.
Okay.
Okay, so, and again, we'd agree on a time frame for the completion of the questionnaires. They seem to be fairly complex, but really they're not. They just
Right.
need to have boxes checked off.
Okay.
And once those got returned to you, then we would compile the information and do some research on like jobs so that we make sure none of the essential functions were missing.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, and are there salary, here, Alan, you'll want to look at that. Are there salary parameters? Is there a scale?
No, that's a separate,
But we didn't
Animal.
talk about that.
yeah, that's a separate, when you're looking at comparing jobs and wage ranges and that type of thing, that's a compensation survey, and that's a separate element.
That'd be after we finish this.
Sure, yeah.
Actually, there'll be another step in between,
Uh-huh.
and that will be our policy and procedure manual.
Oh, okay,
We have one, and it may be a great one. We don't know.
okay. Well, we can, and again, we also would be happy to review those.
Okay.
I did bring, I'll share, you can share that. That's something that we can do, again, at the hourly rate. And we've got the quote here.
Okay. We have, there's actually only 9 full-time employees.
Okay.
A lot of part-timers.
Mm-hmm.
And that 9 does not include our water department, which has, is it 3 full-timers over there?
Yeah, well, did they hire somebody new for,
Yes.
They did? Okay.
Mark's son?
Well, there's 3 positions, so,
yes.
yeah. But they have,
Three
they do their
separate
own,
positions.
they have their own payroll.
Okay.
They have their own budget. Everything is supported through the water bills.
Okay.
So we don't really
You don't mess with them.
poke them a lot.
All right, that's probably a good
Yeah.
idea.
So we have 9 that
9.
are on our payroll.
Okay.
We would be talking about. And 1, 2, 3, 4 are salaried, 5 are hourly.
Okay. And you'll see from the job description questionnaire that we don't make that determination for you, but
Okay.
we could certainly give you advice about that.
About
As
whether
far
they
as
should be
whether
hourly.
they should be hourly or
Yeah.
exempt from
Okay.
overtime. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we've got good parameters for that, as you know.
And you said it was 3/4 of an
So it'll
hour.
be 0.75 hours per job
Okay.
description at 170.
Are you comfortable telling us what the rate is?
Yeah, the rate is 170 per hour.
170 an hour, okay.
Yeah. So it's easy to tell how much it would cost.
Yeah. Okay.
I have another question.
Sure.
What about some jobs like Jimmy's position, Allan, for example, and Curtis, where there are so many duties that I don't think are normally germane to what he does.
Is it because it's a combination of jobs
Yes.
that
Yes.
he's doing?
Yes.
Well, maybe the questionnaire that they fill out would give us that information. See, they would describe in this section 3. So before they do the summary, they really ought to fill out section 3.
I know,
tell
and
us-
that's not nearly large enough.
well, if there's
blank pages, yeah.
again, attach another paper to it, and then what we would do is we would again condense that so it made sense, and use that to compare it to like jobs in like towns to make sure that none of the essential functions were missing. And if you've got a combo job, then that would be considered one job.
Yeah, and I can
description.
think of 3 people off the top of my head that will not be sufficient for it.
Well,
This
Alissa,
space.
Marcy, and Jimmy. Yes, absolutely, without a doubt. Yeah, it's not nearly sufficient.
Well, then again, attach paper.
Can we
so
attach
that
their job descriptions that they currently have on, that we have?
if you've got job descriptions already
some we
written,
do, yeah.
if you've got some,
Barbara,
absolutely.
why do you think that that's not enough room?
Okay. Could
No,
I
if
see
there's
that a
only-
minute?
there's only 12 lines there.
Can your job be described in 12 lines?
Absolutely.
I could describe Alyssa's job in 2 words. Do everything.
Well, that's part of it, and you don't have to break down all the jobs of filing and typing and
Oh,
and-
that's not even,
yeah, to just
in
general office
consideration here.
duties considered, general office duties as provided by an office administrator, for example, or general duties as provided by such as, and then you go into some details, so you can, you might need more paper than this, but
Yeah.
again, so our job, because we've been doing it for so long, is to kind of craft the information that we get from the questionnaire and create job descriptions that will be customized for the
Okay.
folks in the town.
I kind of agree with that, I just don't want it simplified to the point where, there are important things that we miss.
Did you see the library director job description?
No,
Okay, that, and I did make a copy of that, if you don't mind, I'll share that.
Sure, that's fine.
I thought,
It's all public information.
okay, and I thought a very nice job was done on that, it's a little wet. I thought he did a very nice job of crafting that, and if you wanted, our job descriptions for you to be crafted in the same manner, I think that
Yeah,
we'll
see,
probably.
this
I would
is-
like that because
Yeah,
that's the
it's-
way I like to see it.
Right, and it's easy because it
Yeah.
also includes the physical requirements of the job.
yeah, and this won't fit on 12 lines.
I want to point out two things that I put on here under job descriptions. I'll find where it is here. I have to use this now.
That's all right. And again, having them attach extra paperwork, extra
We will
lines.
keep
is
that in
bad.
mind.
Here are two
That-
things that I put in,
Yeah.
and you'll recognize these from military job descriptions. Other duties as required, which covers just about everything. But here's one that I made up that I used to use in writing NCOERs and OERs. Respond to unforeseen situations and resolve them. Which means if
We
it comes
get
up,
those
you own
every
it.
day,
Yeah,
but,
right.
I think there are a lot more.
And they're very,
Graphic.
and see, and again, general duties, he's got 15 general duties described here. Could we condense some of those? Perhaps we could, but we would not take out anything that was an essential function of the job, because we believe job
Good.
descriptions should be used for hiring, should be used for disciplinary, should be used for performance reviews, could in fact be used for termination. So they've got a number of different uses, so we want them to be as accurate as possible.
I agree.
Yeah.
Kurt, what do you think?
Yeah, and definitely attach what we have already, because some of it
Yeah.
is actually pertinent information, others, like Jimmy's is, you're right, Jimmy's is not, he was hired back in 1984, I think it was, or 87.
Yes,
There's
but
not enough information on what he does on there.
but you can make it work.
Yeah.
You can take any job and write a job description for it.
Right.
True, I just want to make it complete enough that when we go to hire, we are hiring the correct person.
You're not gonna hire somebody for Jimmy's job to do what he's doing.
Well, we know
Well,
that.
the
We're
job-
not discussing that right now, but we do know
I
that.
can summarize Jimmy's job in 2 words. Be Jimmy. Yeah. But we'll have to do better than that. Okay,
Thank you.
You-
That was,
Was it just, I mean, did you have any other questions? Obviously,
I
you've
don't.
got
How
the
about
quote
Allan?
there.
Yep.
It's, again, very simple. You
Yep.
hand out the job description questionnaire, we get the information back.
Right.
We will craft job descriptions that I think you'll be really happy with as a result of that. And again, time frame. I think it's important for the questionnaires to have certain amount of time, and don't give them a long time, but a certain amount of time for those questionnaires to be turned back in.
Yeah.
And then we would commit to a certain amount of time where we would have the job descriptions crafted for you.
okay.
which is usually about what period of time?
I-
Can you give us only with 9?
With 9 job descriptions, I think we could reasonably expect within a 2-week time frame that
Oh,
we
wow.
could turn those 2 to 3 weeks. You know, the owner of the company's on vacation this week, so
Okay,
I
we'll give you
can't speak
30
for her.
we'll
but
give you
if
30
give me-
days,
If
how's
you get
that?
30 days is more
All
than
right.
enough time.
All right,
yeah.
so 170 an hour, 3/4 of an hour times 9 comes to 1147.50. Does that sound right?
Sounds about right.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. You comfortable with this?
Yep.
Barb?
That's
Oh, I'm
All right.
very comfortable, because
I
we need
move-
to do this.
That we hire HR Synergy to prepare job descriptions for 9 full-time positions in the Troy Town government. That's every full-time position excluding the water department.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Got a deal.
Excellent. Well, so if you want to sign that form,
Sure.
I will take it back and we'll get this done. Now, what I'll do, Allan, is I'll send you the how many, so we need 9. I'll make 9 copies of these
Mhm.
and get those to you.
Okay.
Mail them to the.
Well, wait, I'll just give it to me, I'll make, I can make them.
Okay.
Oh, it's two-sided, isn't it?
It's you can do two-sided. Okay, so
Can I have this
you
one?
you may.
Okay.
Understanding that this is proprietary and we're using it for this purpose. So if those job descriptions were handed out with paychecks this week, is that possible?
Yes.
Yeah?
Do we want to just,
Oh, okay.
do we want to just hand it out to them, or do you want to?
No, I think explanation.
Yeah, with only 9 people, I think it would be easier to say, sit them down when they, and hand it to them and say, this is what we want you to do, and explain it.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do it
Let
that
them
way.
know
Yeah.
what we're looking for.
Who's explaining it, you guys or me?
Well, I'll come in the morning for a while, how's that? Is usually everybody here in the morning to pick them up?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come in the morning.
So it's Monday night. So do you think they'd have them by midweek?
This week?
Yeah. By
No.
next week.
No, dear, we better give them a week.
No. Would they have them to fill out?
Oh,
by
yes.
This week.
Yes.
Okay. So
Or
if we
we
gave
could
them.
see that they get it, if,
So, no, you keep that one.
Oh, okay.
So if we gave them if we got the questionnaires to them within the next 2-3 days, give them the weekend, have them ready by
Well.
after Labor Day weekend.
Oh,
That's
sure.
this weekend, right?
Alyssa, when's
The
payday?
end of the week.
Tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Perfect.
that's
So
why I
give
said
them
I'd
out?
come in tomorrow morning.
And then if they can hand them in when they pick up their paycheck, you can't hold their paycheck away from them, but you can say, gee, I'd love to trade you your paycheck because I completed the questionnaire. You have it ready, won't you?
Well, hopefully, now is Jimmy going away? No, not until October. He just got back. I think October's next.
9/22.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
So before he leaves, yeah. So, if we can give them a week, that includes a weekend and
Yep.
hopefully.
And then we'll
we can-
call you when we have them all.
Correct. And then
Okay.
I'll come pick them up and we'll set a date from there.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay?
sounds good.
Okay. 30 days to
We'll call her when we
Great.
have them all.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, we're not
Well,
gonna
thank
set
you
a
very
date.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure meeting you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And thank you. I think I'll be working with you. Yes, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, let's continue down our agenda. Review town ordinances. Is John here yet?
Yes.
Yes,
John? Come on
Hi,
in.
John. Come on and have a
Hi.
seat. Actually, this item on the agenda is not what John wants to talk about. This is what we talked about previously about reviewing them all.
Yeah,
But in
this
light
is
of what
yours.
John wants to talk about, that will affect what we do with this, so.
So Curtis asked me to come in because I guess there was a discussion about for the codes and everything, adopting them
Yes.
for the town. And I don't know, I handed out to everyone
Yeah, I've
some
got mine.
paperwork here. And I'll just go through it real quickly.
Oh, that lady, did she take my pen? No. I got it.
So if you look at the top page,
Yeah.
this is just something that we've discussed in the planning board, and that's been discussed for the past 4 or 5 years. Just a general construction ordinance for the town
Mhm.
that really encompasses everything having to do with construction, permitting, licensing, inspection, enforcement, everything in one, and everything that exists already being put into this so that it's clear. So this is just kind of a rough draft outline
Okay.
of what's been discussed in the past. Now, in regards to the questions, this is from the state of New Hampshire on the second page. The state actually adopts the codes to be used for the state.
Right.
So the town really, I mean, you can adopt them if you'd like to, but it's not going to have any bearing on licensed professions. Licensed individuals are required to follow what the state adopts for their codes,
Mhm.
which is electricians, plumbers.
So there's no
Right.
point in the town adopting
No,
anything unless
well,
we
you
want
can,
to
but
tighten up a
it's
requirement
redundant.
somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't think we really want to do that.
So that's that there. And just other points of information about having to adhere to codes and everything. If you look on the third page, Section 3, subsection A, talks about permitting and the state laws for permitting for licensed professions. And this is electricians, there's plumbers in here as well. By law, only a licensed master electrician can pull a permit for electrical work unless it's the homeowner pulling a permit to do work on their own home.
Where they reside.
Where their primary residence,
Yeah.
yes. So, and it also states in here under B that even if you're a licensed journeyman electrician, you cannot pull a permit for electrical work. You have to be a master electrician. And you can't work for hire for electrical or plumbing work unless you're a licensed master in the state of New Hampshire. It's actually a misdemeanor.
Then
So on
what
the
is,
fourth
then
page-
what can a journeyman licensee do?
Work for a master electrician as a licensed electrician
Oh, okay, I thought you said you had to be a master to work for,
to pull a permit.
okay, all right.
So with that being said, now the guy that's doing the barn changing into an apartment, and he's gonna live into it on Monadnock Street?
If you have the intent to make that your primary residence, then you may do the
Because-
work yourself.
He has a master electrician
Mhm.
subcontractor that he's put down and a master plumber. So now these here, both people both have to pull this permit, right?
For electrical and plumbing, yes.
So,
But we have no requirements. That's part of the first page there.
right.
The town has no requirements for permitting. We have a permit, but we don't have any rules that say you need to pull a permit for this, you need to pull a permit for that. So,
We do it all in one document.
yeah, and legally, who's to say what you need to pull a permit for? You know, because we really have no guidelines.
Which we need to have.
We have nothing that tells anybody what you need to do. I mean, you know, certain towns say, all right, well, if you're making a major addition to a structure, you have to pull a permit. But if you're doing a small renovation, then you don't have to pull a permit. You know, and things like that are a lot of different things you have to take into consideration when making the rules and regulations as far as what you want to, you know, what you want people to do as far as pulling permits. So there's a lot to get into, a lot to think about, and then when you get into inspectors and enforcement, you know, it's what we talk about all the time. You know, if you hire somebody to do inspections, you hire one person to do all the inspections, then they're not going to be qualified to literally inspect everything. So unless you have guidelines that person needs to adhere to, then it's just going to be somebody coming in and you know, taking a look around and saying, yeah, you're good to go. So unless you want to do zoning and ordinance and hire out the individual trades, it gets pretty complicated. So that's something that, you know, a general construction ordinance could cover.
Okay.
You know, setting up, I would recommend, and we've talked about this, setting up a committee specifically to go into this and to, you know, write up a bunch of stuff, get a lot of information together, and then present it to the select board and to the planning board, and hopefully get something
Is that,
ironed out.
to what extent does this fall under the purview of the planning board?
Well, the planning board could write an ordinance. You know, we do every year. We put ordinances for the town to review for town meeting.
I'm just wondering, do we need a separate committee to do it, or could the planning board do this?
No, I would say a separate committee.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that
I
would be a
think
bit
this is
much for
quite
the
an
planning board.
undertaking.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah, but that's my concern. It's tough to get people to volunteer to do things.
Oh, sure.
And to get qualified people to serve on a committee. It sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
But I think so far, I think we know one person who's going to be on that committee.
Well, yeah, it is. But if you put, all you need is a few people,
Okay.
and if you get a few good people, you know, I would say, you know, as many tradesmen as you can get.
Yeah.
You know, people that are, and there's people that have come in before that I think would be qualified, that we've dealt with in the past. As far as the
Alright.
guy up on West Hill who was putting the thing over his garage there, he works for. He's an engineer. Who's it?
Is it Papa's, he's worked for, or?
I'm not sure. I forget, but his name escapes me. But there's a few people that we've come across in the past that. And just moving on, just go through all of this real quick. So that was the chapter 319C from the state laws here, just to show that someone would be guilty of a misdemeanor for doing that work. And the next page would be for the plumbers. mandatory licensure. And just showing that you don't really, I mean, you can state this in your town ordinance, but it is redundant. These are the state laws, so if people don't adhere to them, they are guilty of misdemeanors in the state, no matter what the town says. And then the last 2 pages are just from the town of, or city of Plastow, just talking about how the state laws apply to individuals that wish to pull permits. And it just has a title, Can I Get My Own Building Permit? And it just shows, it kind of has an example of what they do, their procedures and policies. And they get a little strict in their restrictions of individuals and what they can and can't do in their own properties.
I noticed the swimming pools you can't do. Is that just Plastow or is that state?
That's just one of their
That's theirs.
specific ordinances. So you can add to it. You can add restrictions.
Right.
They don't go over too well. Usually, people don't like you telling them what you can do on your own house.
Well, it's New Hampshire.
Yeah. But so that's just a general overview, and I would recommend, if you really want to get serious about it, that the selectmen make a motion to form a committee. I'd be happy to serve on it myself and try to get it all set up.
Right. You know, a few weeks back we talked about something, not about the ordinances themselves, but we talked about creating a new full-time position in town. And it's going to be a warrant article. I don't even know if we need a warrant article yet. We have to talk about that.
Right.
Because the position actually exists
Already.
for part-time. But I'd be comfortable bringing it to town meeting and getting everybody's approval on it, as opposed to just putting it in the budget. But it was going to be for combination building inspector, code enforcer. And one of the things we talked about was having that person start rewriting all the ordinances.
Start rewriting all the ordinances?
Well, not rewriting, but let's say going through them all and making sure that we have them,
Make sure,
everything, have everything we're supposed to have, and make sure that everything in there makes sense and is up to date.
Yeah.
Well, this way, if John formed a committee and they got together and did this before he was hired,
Yeah,
we can just hand it over and say,
yeah.
go wild.
I think it's a great idea.
Because I think it's an excellent idea.
I just hope we can get people to serve on that committee.
And I would highly recommend that you have, like you just had somebody in here talking about job descriptions before you hire somebody. You know, it's tough to hire someone and say, all right, go fix all of this.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, well,
it'd be
we-
much better to have everything, all your
In
ducks in a
place.
row, and
Yes,
then
I
hire
agree.
somebody to
Right.
do the job, you know what I mean?
Okay. What do you think, Barb?
I'm all for it, 100%.
I'm for it.
Okay, so am I. I move that we go forward with forming a committee. What do we call that?
Construction ordinance committee?
Yeah, okay. I move that we form a construction ordinance committee to take all of the existing ordinances that we have for the construction trades and write the ones that we don't have but should have and combine them into a single ordinance. Does that pretty much sum up what you wanted to do?
And what would happen is committee to get together, make their discussions, do an outline, bring it to the selectmen, you know, and then go over it with the select board.
Yeah.
And then after that, bring it to the planning board, and
Yeah.
go over with the planning board.
Yes.
And then the hope would be to have the planning board actually present it to the town in March as a new ordinance.
Well, we do before that. We don't have a public hearing.
Yeah, after a public hearing, obviously, yeah. So that would be the hope. And so I'd find out from, I don't know what the deadline is. I don't remember, but
When we go to print,
well, you have to get everything in by a certain date.
If
Before.
it's a warrant article, it has to go in there.
Yeah, it would be a warrant.
But it doesn't really have to,
Well, I would recommend that it be a warrant article to go in front of the town
yeah.
instead of a selectman.
Gonna
What's
be
the
a
deadline,
long-
Alyssa, approximately?
End of January.
Okay,
Is it end of January?
yeah. So what's this time?
all right, I second.
The sooner the better.
All right, yeah, okay, yeah. So we have a second on the
How's
motion.
that?
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Alrighty, we'll get started.
Thank you, John.
You have a new job, John.
So let us know when you're gonna meet so I can sit in on that meeting.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'd like to come
Okay,
if I'm
sounds good.
available.
Okay.
Thank you, John, very much.
All right. We had a public hearing scheduled for 6:45 PM and we're running late, so.
7:30.
Oh, you changed it? Okay. I know I asked you to change it. I didn't know if it had gone through or not. So let's do that right now. So At 7:10 p.m., we are suspending the selectmen's, what's the matter?
We have it for 7:30 for the public hearing.
You're right, we gotta wait. Okay, did everybody know, how many people are here just for the public hearing? Did you know it was 7:30?
No.
Okay.
No,
Well-
I just read your note.
Which I don't think specified a time.
Well, yeah, the Facebook posting I did say, just that it would be included in here.
Yeah.
All right,
Starting
so,
at
So we
6:30.
didn't
so
know.
we're gonna have to wait till 7:30 because we changed the, originally we said 6:45, but because we were front-loaded on the agenda, and that was my fault, we changed it and moved it back to 7:30. So, somebody may show up here at 7:25 to attend, so we have to wait. Okay, so we'll come back to that. Okay, Boston Cane, Harvest Festival, Isabella Venn. Do we have any further information on what we're doing there?
No, I gotta call and grade it.
Okay. Troy Mills parking
Wait,
lot.
can you,
I'm sorry?
what about the Boston cane? Are there any details on that?
We are going to present Isabella Ben with a
Plaque.
at the Harvest Festival on
The Fall Festival on
Fall
the Common.
Festival,
Okay,
October 2nd.
She is now the oldest town resident.
right, yeah, so that's when you're planning to do that?
And then we would contact the Historical Society and ask you to bring the cane over
Okay.
for a presentation and then
Yeah.
take it right back.
Yeah,
But she gets to keep the plaque.
do you have copies of the pictures I took when the cane was presented to Ivor?
The only one I have is the one that was in the
Town report.
town report.
Is it where you can see what he was given to keep, and if not, would that be helpful to you? It was a nice drawing and blah, 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 and whatever.
If you had it to forward over to me, that would be great.
I can do that.
Okay. Any further discussion on the Boston cane?
Okay.
Okay. Troy Mills parking lot. Alyssa, you were gonna get a hold of Shane, or try to get a hold of Shane.
He actually called here last week because
Yeah.
all his wood's almost gone and
Oh,
he's not
good.
quite sure why. So, I checked in with Jimmy and Dave, and it was the trucks that he knew about, so we're not sure.
Okay.
And he hasn't got back to us since.
Okay, that ends old business. Any new business? Or, I'm sorry, is there any other old business that we haven't discussed? Okay, we'll move to new business. Did you have something, Barbara?
12 on the other end, north. That's not on
Amnesty
there.
Day?
No, Route 12 north, the
Oh,
white
right, 12. I
home.
thought you had item 12 on the agenda.
Okay, no, we're back to, that
That other complaint?
disgusting problem again. Okay, and when I talked to Save on Friday,
Yeah,
they had done the test, the pit test, in a new area right behind the fence, and
Yeah.
they had done it Friday morning.
okay,
He passed the test,
okay,
and they are now going to put in a brand new system.
okay.
Okay, so that one is really off our plate. So
Okay.
Carl is absolutely taking care of that.
Good.
And we are more or less done. Carl said he would keep us updated and let us know when digging and everything starts, and then when completion happens.
Okay,
Okay.
good. Okay, new business, a letter from the trustees of the trust funds. Apparently they were not aware that we had scheduled a public hearing on the Georgiani Trust Fund, and they're suggesting that we do that. So, Alyssa, would you give Norm Dion a call and let him know we're doing it October 10th?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Letter from Chris Rochelo in regard to culverts. I'll dig through here and find it. Okay, this is from Chris. It says, "Hi Alyssa, would you please make sure that the Board of Selectmen reads the culvert policy that I emailed to you? I would like them to consider adding it to the job description for the Troy Highway Department." Ooh, okay. So, somewhere here we have copies of it. after our meeting, would you just make sure we all have a copy of it? We may already have copies of it. Okay, complaint, 5 Starkey Avenue. Yeah, there's a couple of them in here.
Is that the one back here, Alissa? Right behind them, is it? Okay.
Here it is. Let's see. I'll just read what the nature of the complaint. Joel Hannon is planning to build a garage less than 3 feet from my property line. There has never been a garage on that location, only a shed. Do we have a building permit application?
No,
Permit?
no.
Then
And-
there's no basis for a complaint yet.
Well,
He demolished a shed that was there before.
Yeah,
There's no demolition.
Did-
there's no demolition permit was
so that's not
ever-
what the complaint is about. He's not saying he demolished a shed without a permit. He's saying he's planning to build a garage.
Okay,
He has not submitted a building permit request.
no, but the neighbor complained, so David and I went over on, I came in and got the complaint form for this person on Monday. David and I went over, he filled it out on Tuesday, turned it in, not to me, to Marcy. David and I went over on Thursday, Wednesday, and Bill Rogers was there, and
Who's Bill Rogers?
the builder.
Okay,
And they were actually, he was getting the land to pour the footer.
without a
They
building
were
permit.
moving forward, yes. So
The builder doesn't know he needs a building permit.
at that time, I said to Bill Rogers that he needed to stop and that the gentleman that owned the home who was not there, needed to come in and fill out a building permit.
Okay,
Okay, and then he called Alissa and said he was going to sue the town. And we went through a whole
Okay.
thing. This went on all week,
Right.
okay? And we put together this packet to give to him. He said he was coming in to see Alissa.
What packet is that?
It's attached to
Oh,
the back
okay.
of what you
I
have.
contacted Eddie Jermaine.
All right,
And the laws are there. I went on and got an RSA and printed that out. I mean, everything is here that he needs, telling him he is breaking the law.
yeah,
And he said he would come in and pick it up. He never came in.
all right.
This is where we are.
All right, at this point, though, there's no action for us to take, right?
Unless he moves forward. I have not
Well,
been over
okay,
there.
but that's unless he moves forward.
Correct.
But right now, in this meeting, there's no action for us to take.
No. But I think
So
we
what
need,
is the ordinance,
Say again?
what is the ordinance for replacing an existing building?
okay, go ahead, Kurt.
Well, if you're replacing an existing building, same size and everything like that, I think pretty sure you need a demolish permit and then you need a new construction to come back in. But if he's apparently building a bigger structure, so he needs to have a whole plot plan and everything because it's not gonna be the same size.
And he also does
So-
not
And
meet
he doesn't meet the
this.
setbacks,
Right.
because you can't build within 3 feet of the neighbor's property. It's
So,
3 feet?
just what
It's
they.
more than 3, isn't it?
Well, I said you
It's
can't
a
build within
city.
3 feet.
Yeah, it's within town.
the state usually requires 15. Under,
Yeah, this
we're going
particular
under
one.
state laws.
Yeah, this
We don't
particular
have a law
complaint
yet.
says it's 3 feet, but I think the requirement is more than 3 feet,
Yeah, the requirement is,
depending on where you are.
depending on where you are,
Right, which he is town.
Exactly.
village district is
Right.
20-foot setback from the front, and the side and rear is 15 feet.
Right.
And
So,
residential,
and now
35,
the
20.
one that existed was 3.
And I think he misunderstands grandfathering. He probably thinks that if I had a building that was 3 feet, I could put another building as long as that was the 3
No, I
3 feet.
explained to Bill exactly
okay.
what he was
All
in
right, well,
violation of.
if the homeowner wants to sue the town, he's welcome to do so. You wouldn't be the first
We're
to
open.
threaten, yeah. Okay, let's see. Complaint Richmond Road, is that separate?
That's, yeah,
Another
across
one in
the
here?
street. That's who Curtis was speaking of? The gentleman that came to your house?
Bill,
No.
That's,
No.
that's
Oh,
an
this is
existing one. This is
another new
another
one?
one?
Yes, that's the one at the end
Well,
of
I can't keep up with them.
Richmond Road, the A-frame.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
that's the rock.
It's in here somewhere. There.
Nobody's happy.
I saw it, I know it's in here. Here, that's not it.
Well, you were waving it around there a little while ago. What'd you do with it?
I don't know. Oh, I think I put it over by Curtis.
Curtis, do you have it?
I have one for Mackey Road, 138 Mackey Road, about the,
No, that's not it.
I have Brad Hunter,
I don't have it.
and I have Sypek.
Wait,
You have it.
maybe
Barbara.
I do. I do, I have it. Okay, this is it.
All right.
Sorry, I was hiding.
Okay, this is a gentleman who lives in Massachusetts but has some property at near the end of Richmond Road. And he's complaining that a logging company, logging operation, is skidding the logs and blocking the road. And that somehow, and he doesn't explain how, but somehow a boulder has ended up in the road, 3 feet long, which is now blocking the road. Jim, have you heard of this?
Nope.
Okay.
So who's logging up there?
I don't know what the logging outfit is. They're
Oh,
from
you
up
don't
north.
know?
They're in Richmond now.
Okay, do we have that on file? We probably do somewhere, right? Okay,
This is
well,
on Richmond Road, all the way down where the A-frame is? where there's no
yes,
power?
yes, that's the A-frame.
He's the owner of the A-frame.
The A-frame's on Denell Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on, this is, you continue toward Richmond.
Right, but he's saying that the logging operation is on Richmond Road and on Monadnock Family Trail.
Class 6 road.
Okay.
Okay, so do you want me to call him? What do you want to do? Call the logging people and say?
Yeah, that would be the simplest way, if you
Want
want
me
to.
to take a ride up and see what's in the road?
Sure, and I'll
Can
be
you
here
verify
tomorrow
that
morning and we'll
someone's
talk about it. How's that?
I think this is the same guy that called and complained the last times I had you go up there.
The last time I went up there, they were rocks that, about this big.
Well, wait, we have a picture this
A
time.
kid,
I told him we wanted a
a
photo.
kid was pulling trees out with a garden tractor and he knocked them off the stone wall.
Oh,
Very innocent.
well, we're not. Okay, is this
That's
the
a
same
boulder?
thing?
He's from Massachusetts, what's he know about a boulder?
Yeah.
I think he knows
No,
what
that's
the problem
probably
is.
outside, but one of the squares on this wall.
Okay, so Barbara, would
Okay.
you, we'll table that for now,
Okay,
and would you investigate and
absolutely.
report back to us next week?
Sure,
Bring the boulder, we'll see it.
Okay.
Lord.
Okay, building permit change for 138 Mackey Road.
The 138 Mackey Road is the setbacks for the permit. Apparently they hit some granite ledge
Yep,
where they're originally intended the foundation to be. North, front of house, and south, back of house. Setback shifted 20 feet plus or minus. The rear of the house was originally 60 feet plus or minus. Now sits 80 feet. The front of the house is now around 185 feet. We believe
Right.
we're still in compliance, but request that you confirm the dis and make the revision to our permit number 2017-10 prior to us proceeding with the pouring of the foundation and other related construction tests.
sounds simple enough.
If a signature response could be provided and this revision is acceptable, we are still in compliance, it would be greatly appreciated. This right here, because it's shifting now, is gonna need the new plot.
Right, they
plan.
have to start all over. They have to submit to planning a new plot or whatever. Curtis can call them and,
All right, would you take care of that?
Yes,
All right.
I'll call them tomorrow.
And utility valuations.
No, look at that. We're meeting Wednesday.
You remember a while back when Marge Shepherdson was in here and she talked to us about the way utility property, the poles are valued.
Right.
And we had the option of going with the state and using their valuation, which is higher. There's a bill in the legislature, as far as I know, it has not passed yet or been signed. If that passes, then everybody will go with the state valuation. But in the meantime, we have the option of doing that. Should we do that?
Yes,
I think so, Chris. I move that we go
Yes.
with the state valuation for utility
I
properties.
second.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay. And we still have 4 minutes before we start our public hearing.
Okay,
So
wasn't there something else we
I
wanted to
move
talk?
to suspend this meeting for the next 4
I
minutes.
didn't write it down.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, meeting is suspended for 4 minutes, at which time we'll start the public hearing.
Okay.
So,
I think there's something else I wanted to talk to you about.
I'm recommending that goes back to the planning board. What was the other thing we had for Jimmy? We said, Allan even said, is he coming in tonight?
Talking about the washout, weren't you? About West Hill?
West Hill washout, the driveways need to be fixed,
Oh,
is that one?
well, I don't know, but we
Fixed
could talk
fixed
about that.
driveway?
No, we're not, the homeowners need to fix their driveways.
Oh, yeah, there's a
And what do
driveway
we
up there
do
that's
about
washed out for the last 30 years.
And do they ever approach these people to have
These are
them?
new owners, they've only been there a couple of years. Well, I say a couple of years,
That's
probably
new.
more than that now.
Well, do we approach these people? Have the selectmen in the past? Okay then. Does it affect the, break down the blacktop?
He moved the house.
No, it's
From the
just,
center
it
one?
covers the road with rocks and dirt.
Oh, like my
She
driveway.
had it down.
Oh, it's horrible.
Back here.
It's worse than
About
what
20 feet off of the.
the driveway below me does.
I had the little excavator up there, cleaned out all the pipe,
Not 100%
all the
new.
pins, and they're all filled back up
Of the
again.
well,
One time,
Okay,
one
all
time.
right. Okay, so we could spend a lot of money.
This.
We spend man hours every big rain.
Pardon me?
We spend time and money every big rain to send Jimmy up there to clean up a mess that we're not creating as a town.
I know, but how do we rectify that? I mean, we cannot force homeowners.
When the driveway was put in, it was long before the
Ordinance was. put in.
ordinances that are in place now. So.
Well, I don't know, if you have something that's a hazard, can you require it be brought up to current specification? I don't
But
know.
it is but is it actually a hazard?
If you don't, if
I would
you're-
hate to
if
drive
you're
a
coming-
motorcycle.
If you're going home and you have no idea it's there, yes, ma'am, that can be a hazard.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it, it's all over the road for a good,
So, I think
Like,
it's gonna go back to planning
it's
board,
not
and she's
just,
supposed to be in here
you know,
tonight,
a
and look at the
couple of
building
rocks.
permit that she's in.
Okay, so it's not like a stream going across the
No.
road.
Oh,
No, it's
where the water
And the way the driveway comes down and the road goes down, it follows the road and goes
Yeah.
right down the road.
Okay, so is that
On the
why
bottom,
we
it doesn't
have
say
the
what she's
10
doing.
feet of, when you build a new
A
home
10
now?
foot is not gonna do nothing with that driveway, that driveway goes up like
So,
this.
it's incomplete, once again.
I'll look to see if I can find an RSA, but I
They
I
had the
don't-
same trouble with, we were gonna buy a house in Gilsum before we bought here. So Emerson Brook Road over there in Gilsum, the road, which is a town,
We already told me.
it's a private road maintained by the members of an
Yeah,
association.
and then,
That's
This one
washes
here
out
is
every
the
time
part
it
that
rains, and those people are responsible
yeah,
for
and
cleaning
then,
up the mess.
that's the one with the apartment.
When it goes on to Route 10. So,
He's got the plans and.
Okay, but see, that's good, because it's going onto a state
We can
road.
change it every city,
So-
back to us and say,
The state has a lot more clout than the town of Troy. But I would need to look something up, but I've never heard of anything that would back us up and take people to court for
they'd
this.
have to put
True.
water bars
For what?
in several locations.
Okay, we're talking about the West Hill problem and the
Which-
rain that we talked about previously,
Oh, that,
tonight.
yeah.
Yeah, the rocks coming onto the road and,
Oh, that's not what I thought you were talking about.
no, yeah.
Because we couldn't remember what else we wanted to ask Jimmy, so we just made something up.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Happens a lot
All
here.
right, it's 7:30.
Okay.
Public hearing is called to order. The purpose of this public hearing is to decide whether or not we should accept an additional highway block grant in the amount of, I might get the amount wrong here, $47,417.58. 47,000 and change. Okay. This is it's called an additional block grant because it's in addition to the one we get every year. The amount that we got last year, we didn't spend yet.
We still got some of that.
Yeah, and we're going to get around the same amount for 2018. We've already been notified of that. So this is in addition to all of that.
We also have the year prior, part of that.
Okay?
Okay.
So we're looking probably about 150 total. But the purpose of this hearing is to decide whether or not to accept that money that the state is offering us. If we accept it, it can only be used for the maintenance of town roads and bridges. Does anyone have any questions or comments on this topic?
So that's the only string, that's the only caveat, it has to be used for maintenance of town roads and bridges, right?
Correct.
Infrastructure only.
Okay,
And it's non-lapsing,
say
fortunately.
that again,
It's non-lapsing.
so they don't take it back. They
Right,
can
so
just
that's why we
build
still
up.
have last year's money.
They can just, okay.
We have
And
some-
the year before.
Yeah.
We have some of last year's, this year's, and plus this bonus, plus next year's, before I am hoping to use all of the money and do the West Hill project as I tried to do this year.
And because we will now have approximately 150,000
That'll be,
instead of 50,000,
Mhm.
the cost to taxpayers would be $100,000 less.
I won't quote that because.
Approximate.
Because if you're watching the news,
Prices are going up.
gas prices and oil prices are gonna rocket.
Yeah,
For how long? Don't know. If we could have done the project this year, as I tried to put it through, we could have probably saved $50,000 because the price of oil came down. Because when I put the project together, it is November. We can't get the money allocated one way or another till town meeting in March. Well, the pricing
Yeah.
goes all over the place. This year, as it came in, it went way down. Now, I was gonna spend some of the block grant that I have from last year and this year to do some shimming, but if we're going to push forward to try and do West Hill properly, not just a shim, but a complete reclamation, then my suggestion is to hold off on wasting it on something we're gonna grind up in 6 months.
Agreed.
There's a lot of people upset about the way West Hill looks right now, but
Mhm.
I can't go spending $20,000-$30,000 to patch here, there, and everything, and then grind it up in 6 months.
Right.
If you don't wanna throw money away.
Well, the warrant article that we had at last year's town meeting, we're gonna put the exact same warrant article out for this year, just changing the numbers.
Plus, like I said, I want to put 2 articles in.
Yeah.
The first article is what we did last year. The new article is for a complete reclamation. When I say a complete reclamation, that means to grind everything up, lay it back out, base it, and top it.
All right.
Which, the price goes up
Okay.
considerably.
If you
because
do
more
a
asphalt.
complete reclamation,
Mhm.
how long would you expect that to last?
The only example I can use on that is Mackey Road was a complete reclamation. Mackey Road, I was trying to look it up today, I believe we did it in '06, which means it's been 11 years. And if you
Okay.
take a ride on Mackey Road, there's hardly any cracks in it even today.
Okay. And if you
So,
do the other one, you
double.
said shimming?
If shimming.
What is shimming?
Shimming is taking and paving over the existing, what is there.
Okay.
So you might be a ½ inch here, 3 inches here,
Okay.
all the way, it just follows the contour.
And how long does that
Leveling
last?
shim. 10+ years.
Okay.
I mean, we did Richmond Road last year, it looks excellent.
Up to 1 year, it does, yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Well, if shimming lasts 10 years
Mhm.
and reclamation, we don't know how long it's going
I
to
would
last.
dare say you're gonna get at least 20 out of a reclamation.
All right, so reclamation will last you twice as long as shimming.
Yep.
What
I
is,
would-
what is the price difference, percentage-wise? Is reclamation twice as much?
No. No, it's probably 1/3 versus 2/3. Okay?
Wow.
2/3 being a reclamation, 1/3 if you break it down.
I don't know what you mean.
Okay, if you got, let's say, using round numbers,
Okay,
200,000 for a shim, 300,000 for a reclamation.
all right, so reclamation is 50% more than shimming, but it'll last
Yeah, probably
100%
50 to 60%.
longer.
50 to 60.
So if you just average it out, what the cost is per year, it's cheaper in the long run to do the reclamation.
Right.
Okay,
The cheapest one to do in the long run is to total road rebuild, which is gonna cost you
Oh,
probably 500 to 600,000.
and why would we do that?
Well, because a lot of towns have done it, because when they put these roads in, they were put in for cows, not for vehicles. So you've got rocks and boulders that are shifting and heaving every winter, and that's what causes the road to break down on, so you gotta dig it out, take out the boulders, put new fill, and it's,
I don't think
the
we
last
could-
time I did West Hill on a shim had to be, I would dare say, Lynn, you can help me on this, 20 years ago?
I don't know.
I would dare say around 20 years ago.
We've been there for
And I
years.
went through pulling every dimple,
Yeah.
okay, which means a rock from this big, this big. And when you just said what you said about building for the cows, some of them dimples weren't rocks.
I know.
They were stumps,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay? That's what they were cat roads.
Yeah.
They used farmer's mix at one point in time and just covered them over and started driving on them, and that's what we've got. There's no base. So to do exactly what he is stating doing is very, very costly.
Yeah, I don't know.
How what would
that-
it cost?
I think
I
that's
would-
very
I would
inexpensive.
stick with what he just said, probably 500 to 600,000.
Or more, I
Or
think.
more.
So that's
That's a
about
long
double the
road.
cost of reclamation?
Yep.
Okay,
Reclamation, they only go down 18 inches.
all right.
They grind everything up and get everything out for 18 inches. The frost goes deeper than 18 inches. If
Yeah.
the frost goes down deeper, then it's going to pull what's down there up.
Right.
That's too much money.
And what we did where I came from, we went down 4 to 6 feet,
Oh,
take out all
Lord.
the clay.
Okay, we can't afford that.
Yeah, that's all rich people there.
Back in
There was 1,000 people, and we used only people that lived in town. We
Yeah.
had our own pit, we had our own gravel.
Yeah.
All we had to buy outside of the town was asphalt. So,
Back in 1990, FWW, which is Frank Wickham Company, came in and they did a survey with me on all the roads in the town of Troy. And at that point in time, to do a complete, what he's saying, rebuild and reclamation at the same time, it was $1.7 million to do the town of Troy.
For the whole
Now
town.
that's 1990, and today, you got it,
Triple that.
at least.
Yeah, we're 20 years beyond that almost.
All right. Well, that's not gonna happen this year.
When you're calling this the West Hill project,
Mhm.
West Hill and Holman Road?
Tolman Road, West Hill come together because you don't want to pave from Richmond Road to Tolman Road
Right.
and then leave the rest, because then you go taking a couple years down the road to repair that up there, you're gonna bust up with all the heavy traffic.
Yeah.
No, the whole
So you
thing,
wanna do it all together.
that's from the Blueberry Farm down and from the Swansea line down, the whole
Oh,
thing.
so you'll go all the way to the Blueberry Farm?
Yes. The Blueberry
Blueberry
Farm's
Farm's
already
pretty
good. It goes all the way to Blueberry Farm now.
Yeah,
yeah, but from
Oh.
Tolman Road to the Blueberry Farm is beautiful. It's like highway.
It is. It was done not that many years ago.
Okay.
Any more comments or questions about whether or not we should accept, which is really the point of this, is not to decide what we're gonna do with it, but whether or not we should accept the money. No further
What's
questions?
the downside? Why wouldn't we?
I can't imagine why
We
not.
can't imagine what we have to do.
The reason we're holding the
law.
hearing is because the law requires us to hold a public hearing prior to accepting amounts $5,000 or greater.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not doing this for the kicks.
Although it has been interesting. Okay, then, if there's no further discussion on it, move that we close the public hearing.
My second.
All in favor? Aye. Public hearing ends at 7:40 PM and the Selectmen's meeting resumes at 7:40 PM. I move that we accept the additional block grant from the state.
My second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Now, I have a question. I think because of our exchange on the Facebook site, I got a Facebook message from Michael Devlin, maybe.
Mhm.
He asked that if I went and if this was accepted, if I could let him know what happened so he could put it in the news. And I said, what news? Not anybody I knew. It wasn't apparently he is the news director or whatever for the Monadnock Radio Group.
Yeah.
So he's looking to put an update on the radio about this. What would you like me to do, if anything, to respond to him? I told
That's
him.
up to you.
Well, no.
It's public
It's
information.
public information.
All right. So you have no problem if I let him know that yes, this has been accepted and that it's the purpose of it or the intent is to hold it until next year to do a major road project. That's fine.
Sounds good.
Right, at this point,
That we get the word
because at
out.
this point, all we've decided to do is accept the money.
Accept it, right.
And we have, other than paving the West Hill area next year, we have no other projects on the horizon.
Okay,
There actually is one other stipulation in that block grant.
yeah,
We're not allowed to use it for something for which we have already appropriated money. So if we had appropriated money to do a project, we couldn't say, well, let's use the block grant instead.
okay,
But we don't have anything appropriated because it was turned down
It
last year.
can be worked in conjunction with.
Next year.
Right.
so
Right.
Yeah.
this is gonna be for the 2018 year.
Correct. Yeah,
construction-
our intent right now,
construction year.
our intent right now is to bundle that additional block grant with money that we already have in that account and
Yeah.
with the block grant that comes in next year,
Okay,
and put all of that into the warrant article that we present at town meeting to pave West Hill Road and Tolman Road.
okay, good, all right, good.
And I think you need to note in there that the money can be used only for infrastructure. So
Right, yeah.
people are not saying, well,
Yeah.
we could have done this or we could have done that.
Yeah.
We
They can
can't.
still say
They're going
that.
to anyway.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Okay.
I just didn't wanna step on any toes.
Well, thank you for
wouldn't-
asking.
You absolutely would not be. It's public information and, and it's gonna be available on the town website. The whole discussion will be tomorrow night.
Okay, okey doke.
Thank you. All right, that concludes new business. Brad, what can we do for you?
I'm just here to listen to the meeting on, I submitted a plan.
Okay, Curtis?
So you're, put a building permit in for 162 Marble Road, but reading down to it, you haven't put any description of work. You didn't mark down if it's a new building, addition, or alteration, or anything. This is all empty, so it's still incomplete. And the last time we spoke, I'm pretty sure we told you we need a complete site plan. You gave us a partial. So we need all the information on this?
We gave you a whole complete,
Well, it's not in this
that's an
packet.
old one.
Do you have the packet?
I don't.
I don't know.
And you said this was actually dated 8/14/17, August 14, 2017, so we still need a complete site plan for everything, and you need to finish doing, you need to finish filling out the building permit, actually. So, as of right now, we cannot sign this until it's been completed, so
What do you need to have completed? Because the engineer said that should be completed.
it's empty. You have no information on your building permit. It's incomplete.
Oh, on that part? But
And on the bottom,
plan
back.
itself?
on the building site plan and everything like that.
Yeah.
It says that it's a partial site plan. We need everything. We need the elevation, we need
All the
setbacks.
elevations
we
should
need-
be on there, let me look at that, see what you have.
And also, where is the location of the house? Because apparently it's moved since the last time. Because the last time you said it was gonna be set back here, a 14 by 30 foot.
Yeah.
And it looks like now that you're actually moving it up next to the
I'm
road.
trying to see where we got here. This is.
And I think he needs to mark where the house is going to be.
Well, it's a partial site plan. Last time we looked at it through the planning board, Kyle just reminded me that we asked for a complete site plan review.
Oh.
So we need everything that's on it.
Yeah, I thought you wanted like here's the floodplain and all that.
That was
on
part
there.
of it that needs to be on it.
Yeah.
But we also need all the setbacks, we need where the house is gonna be, we need everything, all the information that's required for zoning.
It has. You just want all the distance from here and here. I thought we had that on our plan.
You have, the house is actually back. Right now, you're proposing to put it right on the Marlboro Road? Is that
On the
what I'm seeing?
Marlboro Road? No, that's the railroad.
The railroad's on this side, and
Yeah,
that's Marlboro?
yep, this is 620 feet back from the road.
Okay, and then you said this 20-foot setback for this right here?
Yeah.
So,
600.
That stuff also on this one.
all it has to be on there as well.
So that way, when he finishes this up, it should, instead of saying partial, should say complete site plan when you turn this in, they'll stamp
We
it.
need to know where the well's gonna be, the septic, everything. Or if you're gonna do
It
the
has
town.
it on here, the well.
And also,
Existing well.
isn't with the water and everything that we discussed last time with the 75-foot radius, you cannot be going into the water?
No, I had a paper from the state saying it was all existing well. It's fine. You can be right next to the water if you want to be next to the water with a well.
Just have to include that with your paperwork then.
Yeah, I think we did. I had a special paper and it was all approved by the state.
That's good.
The guy seemed to think that this would be complete. This would be all you would need.
I'm just trying to orient it to the north here, so I'm thinking this is north. That sound right?
Yeah, yeah. This is the railroad.
Right.
That,
And then there's Old
this
Marlboro
is
Road.
620 feet back to the
Right.
house. It's 20 feet back. I thought we had it on the plan. 80 feet from the water.
Right.
There's the septic, and he said that should be everything you possibly would need on it.
That's an existing well, you said.
Yes.
How long has it been there?
I have no idea how long it's been there.
Before you bought the property?
Yes.
Okay,
But
that might
I
be
had
identified.
the state, I had to fill out a special paper with the state, and they said it was fine. They said,
Yeah, we
The what?
ended up recording it with the deeds.
yeah, it was all recorded with
There's
it.
a record of it.
And
We
they
need
said it's
that.
all,
We do have it.
Yeah.
I didn't
but you shouldn't need
think-
any special paperwork with that. That's all
Anytime there's a
grandfathered.
new building though, we need a complete site plan, all in one piece of paper.
Yeah. So what else do you want me to add to this? What else would you like me to add, have them add to that?
You're gonna have to put in the setbacks for all the buildings and everything around you.
Yeah, I mean, I can write those right in. He thought with the paperwork that I submitted and this, it should be fine.
No, when we sent out the letter, we said we needed a certified one, that we need to have the stamp on it and everything.
Yeah,
Stamped with everything that's on there. Where you're gonna have the well, where you're gonna have the house, where you're gonna have all the setbacks, everything that was included in that letter that we sent you.
it should be on the septic plan though. My septic plan has all the, it's all on the septic plan too.
This is the last group of paperwork that I got from you.
Yeah, and we had a septic, a whole
I think
lot.
that's actually in your folder, it's a
Yeah,
septic.
and that
tank.
has all the, it shows the well, all that stuff right
All that
on
needs to
there.
get onto this piece of paper is what we're saying.
This is part of that. It's all on that plan,
So we need
on the septic.
we need a complete site plan though. Not one that says partial, a complete site plan. Once you get that to us, it'll go back to the planning board, we'll review it again, and then we'll give our recommendation to the selectmen.
I'll just have him change, he put partial, I'll just have him put complete.
You can do that, but I'm telling you right now.
And what are you saying you
if they
need
know
on it
it's
though?
gonna
I don't
come back-
understand I'll have him put the setback on the house.
Yeah, well, if you put, you're saying you have separate pieces of paper for each thing that are complete.
This, it's right on the septic plan. I
Yeah,
get the whole
yeah, you're
septic
saying you have a page with a separate plan that has all the measurements.
Yeah,
Just gotta transpose it all onto one piece of paper. Think of taping your 4 pieces of
Yeah.
paper together.
Right here.
You just want
You see this one right here?
But the plan I submitted, the building permit says the setbacks and stuff on there.
This is what we'd like to see. It has all the information on it. This is what the planning board is looking for. It has all the roads, all the setbacks, where the buildings are, where, if there's any swamp or rivers or anything like that, all that's gonna be plotted on here, so we can actually see everything that goes on.
Yep, it's all right here. So basically what you want me to do is put the 20 feet back, that we're gonna have the 20 feet back, the distance from here to here, and then what's the other item you want? The well, it should be on the other, that's all,
septic.
state, I mean, you don't even need any distances on that. It's,
Actually, for the well and septic, we do need the distances as well. Because there is.
it says 75 feet.
Radius, correct.
Yeah.
But
I
our
don't
problem is right now, I
It's
think
like
there's an
hundreds
issue
of
with
feet.
it
It's
going
like-
into the river.
It's like 400
Wow.
feet. You're allowed to.
So-
Or I could drill another one if I wanted to, but that, that you can have it right next to the river. You could have it in the river if you wanted it to have a well. That, there's no criteria on that.
So put it on one piece of paper for us, please, and then provide it back to us. We'll bring it to the planning board, we'll look it over, see if there's any issues, we'll give our recommendation to the selectmen.
Right, so you want the distance on the well,
We want
To
all
that.
the information
or he said it's
requested in your
complete.
letter.
He said this should be all you needed.
He said it's complete, but it says partial site plan. We need a completed site plan. Kinda like the one I just showed you.
Yep. That, he
So,
said,
if he changes the wording on there to complete site plan and adds,
The information that we require
yeah,
for all our ordinances and all this
then
other
it's good
stuff.
to go?
Then we'll bring it to the planning
When
board.
does the planning board next meet?
We next meet September 5th.
So not this Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Oh, sorry, September 6th.
Okay, that's a
following
Wednesday.
Stupid phone screen.
All right.
So,
So that's 9 days from now.
I can't get any, can I get it done earlier than that?
that's the next time this planning board meets.
And
Does the the planning board doesn't approve it.
No, but
It's
we do-
advisory, right?
Yes,
All right.
as far as I'm aware. But new construction, I'm not
We
sure.
have to make sure it meets all the zoning regulations and
And check it
requirements
out.
the town has asked for.
so is this what you're requiring for everybody in the town to do now?
Yep, in fact, we just had this person right here, Mr.
I think this is his
Sypek?
third time back.
This is his third time that he's been back, and he's got all the information, he's got his stamp, he's got the house, and he's got everything.
Yep.
We've got several of them that we brought back, and they've been.
So I've gotta have, you want me to put, I'll have them put that on there, the setback on, even though I have it on my plan, I'll have them write it on there. You want something on the well, even though it's,
Something on the septic, the well.
What's the
the
issue with
septic's
the
all
well?
there. It
It's
shows
just,
the
we wanna,
distances
they
on
wanna
it.
see it on the piece of paper, because right now, just because you're saying that all the stuff right here, and then we sign off on it, we're gonna say that this
It's
board
seen.
right here is not gonna come
My
back.
question is, what do we want to see for the well other than what's on here?
We wanna see where it's in correlation to the house, where it's in correlation to everything, the boundary lines.
Okay,
how
what
close
am I
it's to the
missing
river.
here? Because I'm looking, I think I'm seeing it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the well's
it's-
there, correct.
Yeah.
But now we wanna see where the septic is as well,
The
in
septic
correlation
is
to
right
all
here.
this stuff. We wanna see all the setbacks with all the,
Okay, that part I got.
Everywhere.
I was just wondering what you needed from the well, because I,
No,
Include that
yeah.
paper from the state, just to kind of cover it too, on the well, if you have it.
cause I
So
know
that
that
comes
the
up
planning
in
board is
your-
gonna turn this down.
well,
We're
the,
gonna-
no,
we're gonna
the
recommend
plan,
it
yeah,
to
planning
them.
board doesn't turn that down.
Right, we're gonna recommend it turn it down. And for the elevation, you do got the
We don't
elevation
meet,
right
we don't
here.
meet again till next Tuesday anyway, so it's not gonna, try to see if we can speed up the process.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Since the planning board stuff is only advisory, Brad, how long will it take you to get that?
I can bring it to the engineer tomorrow morning, and I was gonna bring him physically here today, and just have him, but it was so late, he couldn't make it, and I was gonna have him answer any question, fill it out, do whatever he has to do.
Would
He
it
said
be,
this is all I needed.
would
I
it be
mean,
possible for the two of you to meet with Brad later this week? If he gets that corrected?
Well,
I'm thinking between the two of you, you have enough expertise to decide whether or not the select board.
Well,
I'll bring it
The
right
planning
down.
board's recommendation is not a formal thing, it's, we're just
Absolutely,
doing it because
but-
we don't have the expertise.
right, but that's what we also decided, that all the building and site plans and everything are gonna go to the planning board to get a
Right.
collective decision.
Right.
And so we have I mean, Kyle's new, I'm still fairly new. I
Okay.
mean, there's other people that have been on, John Collins sits on the planning board as well. Everyone could look at it and put in their 2 cents. I'm not gonna catch everything. I'm only gonna know
Gotcha.
stuff that I know.
All right.
Bobby Lupa's gonna do his stuff he knows. Kyle's gonna do the
All
same
right,
thing.
that makes
Everyone-
sense. That makes sense.
And we just wanna make sure that we're doing it
Yeah,
right.
Bobby Lupa just said he can't believe it. He's just like, why isn't this thing done? He's like, he doesn't have any problem with this thing.
Well, he might have said that, or he might not have said that, but last time you told me that you had this all done,
Yeah.
it was not that date, so.
I had to get a different engineer because the guy's, his mother or something died, so I had to go to a whole different guy to have this taken care of, and actually I got it from Mike, whatever his name is, the building inspector from Swansea.
Mike Jasmine.
Yeah, Mike, he helped me with this.
Okay.
Mike,
So
and he
just
said, this
get
is
the
all
rec-
you need. He got me the
get the
engineer,
rec-
he came down to the site, he's like, Brad, this is all set. You don't need any more than this. This is ridiculous.
So
We're all set.
My
So that's
recommendation.
why I'm like, he's like, this
My
is all you
recommendation
need.
is put the rest of the information on there,
Yeah.
bring it back to the planning board, let everyone that's on the planning board look it over, bring it back with their recommendation. Just because we have this whole little blurb on there, we don't know who did it still, and until,
Who did what?
on your tax card, that says a non-buildable lot.
Yeah, but I have all this, now I have this.
Okay, now we're gonna make sure that it's within our zoning. This is what we discussed last time we were here. We're gonna make sure everything's right. Just because you have it, doesn't mean it automatically gets approved.
You said if I brought this in, you were gonna approve it.
We're gonna bring it through the planning board and check it out. And if it does meet all the requirements, then it's gonna get approved. If it
That is
doesn't
what he
meet-
said.
Yeah, if it doesn't meet the requirements, it's not gonna get approved. But I'm telling you right now, I cannot make a decision on this right now.
And the planning board, can I get into the planning board earlier than that?
We
That's what I'm-
meet the first and third Wednesday of every month. And if for us to turn around and try and say that we're gonna meet in a different time frame for an emergency hearing, we have to put it in, post it, and we have to jump through hoops to try and get everybody available at that time. There's not enough time to get everybody together because we're gonna be meeting literally in 9 days. So Wednesday, for the first of the month, the first Wednesday is gonna be the soonest we're gonna be able to do that.
So you want me
I
to,
can call John Collins, let him know. I can call Henry Underwood, let him know, they put it on the agenda. Kyle already knows, there's a couple other people I can make phone calls to. They're already expecting you to come back in, we've been expecting you to come in, because you said you had
Yeah.
all the information. We thought we
I've
were
got
gonna
a
have
thousand
this,
things going, believe me.
I'm not saying you don't,
Yeah.
but you said you had all this information from before, and it's been this several months now. I'm not saying there's an
It
issue.
hasn't been several months, but what I'm saying is, I'll get all that. It's not a
Okay.
big deal. It's, I can have the guy do it tomorrow morning or whatever, it's all done. It's pretty black and white. It's like,
You're right.
you're talking about
You're
20-foot setback, just because it doesn't say it on here, it says it on my building permit, I can have put it on there. And you wanna know the well, even though it's an
And we also
existing
need
well,
your
you don't
building
need.
permit completely filled out. We need the information being put right in here. And this is your previous one, that was 5/17/17, so it's been a couple months.
Yeah, well, if you read what it says on your building permit, it says you're not responsible for anything, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's
But we
like a
are
half-ass
responsible for
thing, you know, so I thought it was all filled out correctly, you know?
Okay,
And then you came up with you wanted this, so I went through, you know, I got this for you. So, I mean, it seems pretty cut and dry, but I'll have the guy, look at it, and you want the setback on that, and you're saying you want the distance from the well to the building.
they need all the information that says it in our ordinances.
Okay, cause it says
For a
75
complete
feet
site
right on
plan.
here.
For a complete site plan.
All right, I'll have him just write complete on that.
And then we'll bring it to the
Because he
planning
said it
board.
was complete. He's just like, you know, like, let's you surveyed the whole property or something, you know? It's like ridiculous.
Right now, we're going around in circles though.
I know.
So
It should,
I'm
it
just-
should,
But
I,
Brad, regardless of what he said to you, we
Yeah.
can only go by what you present to us.
yeah, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna
So,
get this taken care of.
and this building permit right here, this is the one that you just sent to us.
Was this your copy? Did you want that back?
If you, well, I can put it in this packet right here of everything. I think your septic plan is in this folder,
Well, I have
The one-
copies
the
of that.
letter?
I have copies of that.
but
It's
I can
not
put
the
this all in
plan,
here.
It's just the approval.
But we
piece.
just need this right here updated and on your building permit. Is your building permit. Nothing's checked off for this here and you didn't put down any information on what's going on. It's a description of work. So right now, it's an incomplete building permit.
Okay. All right.
All we're asking is complete it,
You want me to
give us
take
a
this
site
with me
plan.
and finish filling it out?
You can if you want.
Yep.
Well, no point making fill out the rest of it out twice.
Right, yeah.
You didn't get the actual plan, they just sent you the.
They only send me the approval, they do not send you.
Does it
the
stay in the
payment
same?
form,
I'll
Unless
put
they
that
want
with
to
this.
charge
This
the
is the
town
original thing?
$7 a copy.
So if you just wanna finish this, the information
I
here,
bet you
who's doing all the work, the general contractor.
submit it with the
Now-
paperwork.
Which will be me.
The electrical and plumbing, John Collins just came in and said that, but they fall underneath the state requirements,
Mhm.
that they have to be master electricians and master plumbers
Yeah, but if I'm
to do
doing
this
it,
work, unless you're doing it yourself.
yep, doing it all myself,
So-
doing it myself.
But he
And
has
that's
to
just the
live
agenda
there.
request.
Yep,
Yeah, you have to-
You're living there?
Yep.
You're living in this
absolutely,
property?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, what
He
John
can
says,
do
what,
it if he lives there.
intent, was intent, you intend to live in the property.
Right.
He doesn't
Well,
live there
yeah.
now, because it's not
Well,
built.
right, it's not even built, but no, you,
Yep.
you need to live in it.
Yep.
Right,
That's
that's
the
what
only
my
way.
plan is, and I've just been getting held up to try and get this done, but, so I'm gonna take this with me.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, not the second page. What is this? Oh, that's the original one. That's your original one that you just put new building, but you didn't put down any information on here. That right there is just your
Alright,
tax
but
card.
it shows the size of the building, it shows everything on the whole design.
I know, it's a formality. Just gotta
Okay.
finish completing.
You just want it on here.
Finish completing out the building permit.
Mhm.
Give us a complete site plan with all the information that we required that we sent you in a letter. That, I
Well,
don't remember verbatim.
it said floodplain, so we got the floodplain on there.
correct, all the setbacks and all the information that else was in the letter. I do not have that letter
Yep.
with me right now.
Okay, well, it showed it on my little diagram of all the setbacks on there.
Okay, put it all on one piece of paper if you could, so we can see everything, any abutters and all this other stuff, information as well, and their distances away, for their houses as well.
Or it doesn't say that on there for butters on there.
I'm pretty sure it says it in our ordinances though. For our building ordinances or our zoning ordinance, didn't it say something about it?
I don't know, it doesn't say
Identifying
anything
all the
on that.
abutters?
I think that's
didn't
if
say
you
in
go
the
for an
letter.
adjustment.
Yeah, it might be for adjustment.
I thought,
It doesn't have anything on that.
Just double check what the letter was we sent you to. I can't remember what it said in it.
I mean, this right here, that's what we're looking for. He's been back 3 different times. He's got everything from the building to the property, everything's marked out. That's perfect.
Yeah,
I don't
so,
see this being an issue for this one right here. But he was recommended to get all the information just like you are.
who was recommended? Oh, you mean this person?
This person. He
Yeah.
came back. He's given us all the information now. As of right now, I don't see the planning board having an issue with all that.
Alright, so as far as what you want, I'm just gonna have them take that piece of paper and then write in those other measurements in it and you're good.
And making sure that everything's on it that we need for all the ordinances that we have for a site plan. A complete site plan with all the information on it that we need. All the information off the top of my head, I do not have it right at this point. I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning. I honestly couldn't just random off all the information. But I know that the words complete site plan was very notable when we recommended it back to the selectmen and when we had the discussion last time. We wanted all the measurements, everything in there from where everything's gonna be, because your tax record said it's a non-buildable lot.
But it
Give us
meets,
the information.
Yeah.
And it meets all the requirements. And it meets all the zoning ordinances. And everything's good, you will get your building permit. If it doesn't, and we need more information, we're gonna ask you for more information.
yeah, so when's my next date then?
The planning board meets
The 6th.
6th of October, September.
So that's the earliest,
That's the earliest.
9 days from now.
the planning board.
Is gonna meet, and I will call up the chair, I will call up Henry to put us, make sure it's on the agenda, then we'll go through your packet, providing you have all the information back
Yep,
here.
okay.
We'll be here, so if you wanna be here.
So, take this one too for to complete this building permit, Brad?
Brad,
Oh. Can you fill that out now? Can you finish filling it out now?
He wants it on one piece of paper, I guess you can submit. Can we fill it out now and give it to you? This part?
I think so, yeah, should be here.
You can, but, I mean, it's gotta be accurate, that's,
Okay.
the site plan's all, and that's why you get a stamp and you pay big bucks for it.
he's talking about the other portion.
Oh, that part, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you can do, just fill out what you want, what your intentions are. That's the easy part right there. The site plan is a little bit more difficult, because all the information else has to be on there. And like I said, we're just trying to make sure everything's being done right. You're not the first
Why
person
don't
that we're
we
doing
take-
this to.
He said it was complete.
Why don't
So-
we table
And-
that
and
till
everybody
next
seemed
time?
to think it was complete, is more than what I needed on there, so I'm like, okay.
We'll put that back on the
Okay,
folder.
That's everything that we had on the agenda, except we missed something up at the front there. Announcements. This Saturday at 7 o'clock in the morning until 10
7 to 10.
at the community center is the monthly breakfast hosted by the Recreation Committee and the Senior Citizens Club.
Yes.
Anything else going on this week that you know of, Curtis?
Not this week. Next
Okay,
week I got a
Barbara,
bunch of stuff.
anything coming up? Okay, so much for announcements. Barbara, you have anything else for us tonight?
No, we'll table Attorney Hopkins Smith until next week.
Good, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Curtis, anything else?
Did we have anything from the planning board last time we met?
I don't think so, we just went over the master plan review and the land use. Son John Collins.
John Collins now sits on the planning board, just so
Right.
you guys know.
Yeah.
He was sworn in, he was,
We know.
voted on. We're still reviewing the master plan, the second meeting of every month. We're doing it like section by section, just so you guys know.
We talked about, don't we have to ask to appoint the committee for the CPI, for Ben Drug
Yeah, the capital,
improvement plan?
the CIP, the capital improvement plan, we still have to get a committee together to help, so that anybody who wants to be part of that, we're looking for volunteers.
We need to make a list of all the committees we're trying to recruit
Yeah,
for.
we're having, I mean, tonight there was another one.
I got another one coming up in a couple of days. The Grants Committee.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be in the Troy
Okay,
Town
so
News.
there's three.
Yeah.
There's not enough people to live in the town to be
Yeah.
on.
The roller skating paperwork get all approved from the school for the rec committee? I haven't heard anything back from Bob about that either.
I usually don't see that.
No? Okay. So anyway, our September 8th is our first day of roller skating. It's supposed to be going back up. We bought the 200 pairs of roller skates, and now we're building the carts to transport them back and forth. So I don't think there's anything else.
Okay, good. Kyle, you have anything more?
Good.
I'm all set for the moment.
Okay. Sir, I don't know your name.
Ian Sypek.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, we have met. I forgot, sorry.
So we just got to bring it back to the planning board. I'm pretty
No.
sure everything is going to be good.
No, they said to bring it here.
Oh, with all the information.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this one here.
Yeah, I think
he
he's
already went to
good,
the planning
isn't he?
board.
Yep.
He already gave us the information that we asked for because he was asking for the permit for just the framework.
Right.
Right.
We told him to put everything all in one. He did that.
That's right, we suggested put everything all in one, we don't want to charge you multiple times.
Right.
Then just bring it to here.
So real quick, this is what a complete site plan is supposed to look like.
Yep.
Yeah, we looked at that.
So
Yeah, there's no change to the property, the building's already existed, so there's no change to the footprint whatsoever.
Okay.
Yeah,
You make great
I
examples.
think he's fine.
So if the recommendation was just get this paperwork all in one, he did it, and so as far as the planning board is concerned, they said that this is good to go.
I mean, really, I think he's good to go on that, but we suggested maybe we should just
Put everything on one, and he said he was gonna get back to us, which he did.
Okay, so,
And
ready to sign it?
yeah, he did everything he was supposed to do. I had Kyle look at it, I looked at it, and the only thing that the planning board was concerned about was that the framework and the plumbing and electric being separated. And
Yep, and that's why I added the plumber and electrical, they're both master plumbers, electricals, and Richardson, Scott Record, East Detroit, so.
Yeah,
remember
he
that's
did
gotta
all
go to
the,
Alissa,
Right.
he did the work on the common for me.
the permit, so you can get a number.
Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. They can't be.
That goes under her description, do everything.
Here, Curtis,
But I need all this stuff together.
yeah.
You can stop in and grab this from Marcy tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay,
Now, do you need all this stuff back?
No, you want to keep it in file, that's fine.
okay.
We can put that in his file, please. Thank you.
Wow, I'm,
Give it a look.
thank you, Alissa, I'm good. I'm all ready to go tomorrow morning.
Just in case I die on the night.
Deb Wilson's
No.
property,
Right,
do you want me, did you bring that up too?
What?
that's right.
For the Deb Wilson?
What
With
about
the
her?
property that she,
What was the issue there?
so basically she owns property, two pieces of property that are right beside each other, map 12, give me a second, let me find it.
is why I asked you if you had anything else for us,
This is what we don't
before you
ask.
start going around the room.
She has 2 pieces of property. She's gonna sell one to her daughter,
Yeah,
and she asked the state if she can get a driveway permit. They came back and came down, looked at the property, took all the measurements, and said that originally they have to deny it because it doesn't meet the requirements for it. She appeals it. They're gonna turn around and give it to her anyway because none of the driveways on Monadnock Street actually meet the criteria. So it's just a formality that they gotta do it, and then she
Yeah.
appeals it, she gets it anyway. Once that happens, she's gonna get a site plan, and everything put together. But she was also told that if her lot was subdivided before July 1, I wanna say it was 77, then she's grandfathered, and she
I
can build
think
on
you
that
were
lot.
right the first time. I think it is 71. I'm not,
71?
yeah.
Okay, it might be 71.
okay, so
But
she,
didn't
that's
she-
a vacant lot you're talking about?
It's a vacant lot,
Okay.
right next to where the property that she lives in.
Yeah, okay,
And she said that, the state people actually said that if she can prove that it was subdivided prior to that date, she's grandfathered, and she
Alright.
could basically do,
well,
build it on it.
what if it wasn't?
There's a whole new criteria, I guess. that-
Because if it has been subdivided even last week, it's now a separate lot,
Right,
and it can get a driveway cut.
right. Well, apparently, what I was told is they can't be denied to access your own property. So if anybody puts in for a driveway permit,
Yeah.
they should be able to access their property, so it's
That's
not
not what
gonna
that rule means.
Well-
That has to do with not being landlocked.
Right, but the way she described this to me was that when they came down and looked at it, and if she wanted to, it's a lot easier than if it was prior to that
Okay,
date.
now, but this is on a state highway,
Yes,
so we don't have jurisdiction.
we don't,
Why are we discussing?
because it's gonna end up coming back to us for a building permit for that property.
Oh, okay.
What they're gonna try and do is, they're gonna try and, before they sell it to their daughter,
Yeah.
get the driveway permit in
Yeah.
place, so when they do sell it, it's actually an already packaged deal, it's already been approved and already set to go.
Okay.
So then they can just
Right.
put in a site plan, get that approved,
Right.
and meet it.
All right,
So, it's
Now-
just, it's coming in the future,
All right.
it's coming.
now, of course, that's on a state highway, so they go by the state rules. What if that property was on School Street? And it was subdivided, so it is now 2 lots. Would we give a driveway permit for the second lot?
We'd have to,
Yeah, okay.
we'd have to.
I'm wondering why the state is doing it differently.
I don't know, we didn't really have time to discuss it, and it was
Yeah.
kind of like in the back of my mind, it's
Right.
like, well, why
So
would they appeal
unfortunately,
it
Jason,
anyway?
you can't do that with your lot, because it's,
Cut the house.
yeah, it's got the building in half, yeah.
So-
Then you wouldn't be
It's gonna be
setbacks.
fun, I got chainsaw.
So,
There you go.
and my thing is, every week we're learning something new about these RSAs
Yeah.
and these lots and everything,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
something
Never
might
learn it all.
pop up.
Yeah, okay.
So, but Debbie and Tim Wilson, they've been working, they've been calling me up and asking me questions, and they've been stopping me during the rec committee meetings and say, hey, this is what our intentions to do, this is what we want, how we go about doing this. So I can get on the phone and start contacting people that may have more of an idea than I do, because I don't have every answer. And
Yeah.
this is the guidance that I'm coming back, but
Okay.
eventually this is gonna come back to us, and as of right now, the information that's in these folders, I can't tell when it was subdivided, because it looks like it only goes back to 84 is one of the things, but there is a deed here, and I didn't get a chance to finish reading it.
Yeah, but when they come to us for a building permit, that's not gonna matter.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just gotta let them know that the planning board is not meeting this Wednesday, it's actually meeting next Wednesday, because I
Yeah.
thought it was this Wednesday for
Okay.
some,
All right.
I did too. That's on my calendar.
yeah, for some reason.
Got anything else for us?
I hope not.
Okay. Jason, you got anything for us?
Good.
Alyssa? All right.
Okay, is this tonight? Are we to be discussing this tonight?
What's
No,
that?
That's what Allan asked me to print you guys to read on the
Okay,
culverts.
all right.
What was that?
This on the culverts.
Oh,
from
okay, yeah.
Fitzroy and-
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, then, move to adjourn.
Oh, I second.
Don't get too excited.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned at 8:14 PM.